Hi everyone, this is Chopin from Disabilities Be Aware, and this is the first time talking about my autism in person to everybody. So the first thing that I want to talk about is what interest I have. So there's interest and then there's hyperfixations, and they're different. So hyperfixations is I can be hyperfixated on a subject or an item or something, and it might go for months, days, even years, but it's not something that has always been there, has always been my favorite, and will always be at the forefront of my mind and the thing that I talk about the most. That is what an interest is. I've kind of learned that as I've kept going and learning what my interests were, as well as what my hyperfixations were too as well. And sometimes they can change too, which is very interesting. Another thing is that I have always thought as an interest that you can only have one interest, but I realize I have multiple interests, and some of them take more priorities than others do. For example, I love C-dramas and I'll watch them all day, every day. I love binge watching them. So if you ever want recommendations, I will provide. I love C-dramas. I watch all other international dramas as well, but C-dramas are the most that I like. And then I like books. And books has always been a part of my life. If you've learned, I have a reading disability, and so books has always kind of been there. I used to have a love-hate relationship with it, and now I just love books. And that has become one of my interests. I also really like to crochet a lot, but crochet is not as an extreme interest as it should be, because it was more of a hyperfixation that turned into an interest. When I was a senior in my school, I would crochet all the time, and I got hyperfixated and I crocheted for 3 days straight, and it didn't go well. I was burnt out afterwards and I was so tired. And then I crocheted on and off after that, but I wasn't so time consumed with crochet. I also do piano, but I don't do that as much as any of my other interests. And I also do art. And I do art on and off. I usually draw, but I draw it in increments. So I might have like one big painting, but I might be doing it in little parts, digital painting, not complete full painting. And so those are some of the interests that I have. And hyperfixation right now is my hair. I love learning more about my hair and learning how to take care of it and learning what hair type I have and things like that. And so it's just interesting because I don't know if anyone else has it, but I always thought that you can only have one interest if you're autistic. I realize you can actually have multiple interests, and it's okay to have it. It's a little bit time consuming though, because sometimes I want to do all of them and I can't. But let me know, anyone in the comments, if you have the same thing where you have multiple interests and not just one, and what your hyperfixation is at the moment. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye.